Hi everyone, Evette Rose here, and welcome to this week's episode for Ask Evette. And we had a question here. What is the emotional cause of subcutaneous fat versus visceral fat? Hi everyone, Evette Rose here, author and also founder of Metaphysical Anatomy and also the Technique. So guys, this book is all about the research and everything that you want to know about the psychosomatics and emotional stress in the body, whether it's in your ancestry, childhood conception, womb trauma, it's going to be in here. So this book is for adults, 679 medical elements, and this healing technique is also designed and wrapped around all this research. Now, guys, it gets better because I have psychosomatics of children as well. So if you are a parent or if you love working with kids and you're trying to understand what's happening with the child as well, this is a fantastic reference. Or if there's unresolved stress points or wounds from your childhood that you just never quite resolved, guys, this is going to be for you. It's an absolute game changer. You're never going to look at your childhood the same way again. So you can see these books are massive and it's my pride and joy. So go check it out at evettebooks.com. And guys, also remember my weekly masterclasses that we have for free. Go check it out at evetterose.com. And also, welcome to this week's episode. This is a great one. I really look forward to this one. So the question was, what is the emotional cause of subcutaneous fat versus visceral fat? What a great question. Now, let's just break these two down so that you guys know what different kinds of fats I'm talking here about, because there's two types now. So the subcutaneous fat that is now kind of like the jelly fat that we sometimes can have under the arms, like this, like just directly under the skin, or like stomach fat, or maybe around the thighs. This is the kind of normal fat that just the subcutaneous one. But then we also have the visceral fat. That means they are wrapped around organs. They're wrapped around very important parts of the body that kind of shouldn't really have fat around them. But now here's the tricky part. It depends what kind of organ is affected by fat being stacked around it. That will give you a much more accurate psychosomatic reading. So in order to find out more of that, you can really dive deep into metaphysical anatomy depending on the organ. Now, what I'm going to share with you, though, is what does it mean if there is fat, for example, now the subcutaneous one that's just, around parts that's not around organ versus the visceral fat. So first of all, fat actually insulates, psychosomatically speaking, insulates a person against unhealthy people, toxic circumstances. It also speaks very strongly of a very deep need for nurturing, but safe love, safe nurturing. This often tells, a bit of a pattern where there's maybe hostility, where maybe there was emotional coldness, emotional unavailability, or even abuse. There's also very strong ancestral patterns that comes from this as well. This tends to be inherited patterns. And if this is happening for a child as well, or if you not probably, so what you want to do is, if this is something that you're struggling with, I would highly recommend actually diving into this, because children are an expression of what is happening from our ancestry as well. We tend to resolve a lot of these coping mechanisms that we do inherit from the ancestors by developing our own. But children are the most purest expression of what was happening in the womb, what was happening between mom and dad during conception, and also our ancestry as well, especially the immediate ancestry 3 generations ago. So the paternal and maternal grandparents as well. So when we now look at the type of healthy fat, because some of them can actually even protect you against diseases. If your body has a lot of toxins in it, normally the toxins will go sit in the fat, and that's the body's way of protecting the fat. That's why a lot of people have trouble losing weight. The body's too scared to let go of the fat, because then it releases all these toxins into the body. So you want to do a detox before you lose weight. Dun, dun, dun. Keep that in mind. So, but it also begs the question, who or what is toxic in your life? What thought is constantly plaguing you that maybe has become toxic? What pattern or cycle do you have in your life that has become toxic as well? Now, the area where the fat is being problematic, meaning that the healthy type of fat, at least, that part of the body will also tell you exactly what you feel you need insulation from, what emotional stress has become too much for you. And we actually have the quick reference guide also here in the book that can really quickly give you an answer, or you can dive deep into the actual area or the part of the body and see what is the patterns going on there that needs to be resolved in a very gentle way. A lot of nurturing is needed here because there's a negative association with being nurtured. There's also a need for protection because a person's need to feel safe have been met in very negative and destructive ways. So they don't feel safe actually feeling safe. Hence why food is not threatening. Or it could be that the thyroid is tremendously low. And that now speaks of a completely whole different psychosomatic dynamic, which kind of deserves its own video. But you can also find out so much more of that in this book as well. And then also, of course, in the kids' book, there's information there as well. So when we now look at the visceral fat, that means, now let's say, for example, the kidneys. And the way that you would look at combining this is, what part of your life have become so resentful that you feel so angry that your attitude has become so hardened that you need almost protection or an insulation or a protection barrier from all these negative thoughts that's now consuming you. It's consuming you. It also speaks of a person or a dynamic that is projecting a lot of anger, a lot of, harsh, like a lot of hostility and resentment towards you. And you feel a need to just put on the brakes and just say, this is enough. But you're too kind. You're too nice. And that's why you're struggling with a lot of resentment. So that is an example of how to interpret that. So I hope that the difference between the two already helps a lot. So the healthy type of fat tries to protect and insulate you, but it's almost like when you start to look at the visceral fat, this is now where your own emotions, your own thought patterns have now started to almost like turn against you. And you yourself now need to be safe from your own, cognitive or emotional destructive thought patterns and behaviors, because it's not getting a healthy outlet. You're not finding a possible solution to the circumstances that's triggering you and causing you to feel this way in the first place. So guys, there you have it. I hope that it helps. Thank you so much for asking these fantastic questions. And until next time, be the light that you are. Thank you guys for joining me here. And also remember to subscribe to our math membership website. You can check out so much more. There's so many free healing courses there as well. Go to evetterose.com, see all the free masterclasses and events that we have coming up. There's always something happening on our platform. And we love to hear from you for the Ask Evette episodes, also for the psychosomatic patterns that you would love for us to talk about, especially when it comes to these books, the research that's in it. And there's so much to be learned and so much to be shared as well. So I love your questions. Let us know what's on your mind. Let us know what you would love me to address as well. Life challenges, it's endless. Guys, thank you so much for being here with me today. And remember to subscribe so that you can stay up to date with the latest and greatest videos that's coming out just for you. Until next time, be the light that you are.